Hello guys, welcome to Redditor's Revenge. Here we post amazing revenge stories daily. And if you want more content like this, please do subscribe to the channel and stay tuned with us. Moving to our today's first story, about how OP's adulterous daughter deceived him into paying for her wedding venue, then prohibited him and his wife from attending the ceremony, causing OP to completely ruin her marriage. Now story. A few days ago, I went to check on the venue before my daughter's wedding to make sure that everything was going well. It was going to be her second marriage and I had paid for it as a gift and as a way to fix my relationship with her. When I got there, there was a guard at the gate and only the people doing decor were getting in. He stopped me from getting in and I asked him why. He demanded to know who I was, so of course, I told him that I was the father of the bride. I was just checking in to make sure that everything was going according to plan. As soon as I said that I was her father, he told me that he was sorry, but I had to leave. I asked if I had the wrong venue because this was going to be Gabriel and Felicia's wedding. He said that he had been told not to let me, or my wife Anna, anywhere near the wedding. I was furious because I had paid for the wedding, but now I was being refused entry into the venue. He called the wedding planner to tell him that I was there. The wedding planner told me that I was not on the guest list. My daughter said that I and my wife were banned from her wedding the following day. I thought that it was a mistake and even had an argument with the planner until she showed me the emails my daughter sent her with the list of people she did not want at her wedding. I argued with both the security and the planner for a long time, until my wife said that we should probably go. I was confused as to why she would do that when I was her dad and I sponsored her wedding, but then I realized that nothing had changed at all. I tried to call her, but her phone was on voicemail. I remembered that she was probably at the bachelorette party. It was fine. I did not need to talk to her anymore. It was a good thing that I found out before it was too late. She thought she could scam me into paying for her wedding and stop me from attending because of revenge. It is a sad day when a parent realizes that their child is very rotten, and no amount of love can fix them. What she did not know was that I went to school with the owner of that venue, who was out of town. I explained to him that the wedding was off, and my daughter was going to have it at another time, and in another venue. I had already paid the deposit, which he got to keep. Everything else was paid for, from her dress, decor, etc. I let her keep them, but there was no way she was going to get married the next day. I had tried to be a good father, but it was always something new with her. My wife, who she had hated from the first day that I got married, supported me in this decision. She even said that she had warned me about letting Felicia back into my life. I know, this is a lot to take in, because it is not every day that a father ruins her own daughter's wedding. She cut me off, after ranting at me for ruining the most important day of her life and embarrassing her in front of her friends and our family. She showed up at the venue only to find all the guests outside and security denying them entry because the booking was cancelled. As I thought she would, she called me in a fit of rage and asked me why I was trying to ruin her like that. I would not have done it if she was not an ungrateful brat. So, let me explain how all of this started and how I do not have a daughter anymore. I am a 55-year-old man who owns a successful business that has been doing well for the past few years. I got divorced from my first wife 51F when my daughter Felicity was just a teen. She is now 26 years old and has been married once already. Our relationship has gotten worse over the years because of her bad decisions. Getting her to even graduate was a struggle because she got into drugs, skipped class, and got mixed with the wrong crowds at school. I gave her everything that she wanted and even sent her to therapy, but she continued. My family has tried to discipline her and get her to do the right things but failed. I sent her to live with her grandma, aunts, and even cousins over the years, but they washed their hands off her. She was just a terrible human being. They complained that she was rude to them and bullied grown adults. For the longest time, I thought that it was my fault, because I got divorced from her mother and kept her away from her, but soon I saw that she just had a lot of problems. 6 years ago, I remarried Anne, who was a down-to-earth teacher 10 years younger than me. The first thing my daughter said when she met Anne was that she was a gold digger and a whore. She was very angry when I got married and said I was being selfish. She accused her of being one of those women who trapped older men for money. At the time, I was living with her, and she made Anne's life miserable. I had enough of her when she threw away some of Anne's clothes, and so I kicked her out. I fixed things with her after she apologized, but she and Anne did not get along anymore, and I could not even leave them alone. When I did, they would always fight like cat and dog. when she visited me, Anne would leave the house and they would not even greet each other. This put me in a very difficult position with both of them. I was surprised when during her senior year, she became tamer, and I stopped getting calls that she was missing class or getting in trouble. I do not even want to mention the things I had to do to keep her in college. She brought this guy called Joel, who was a very nice guy, home with her at Christmas. He got along well with my wife and me and seemed to be the only person who could keep her calm. He was an honest hard worker who had a lot of potentials. He asked to marry her just 6 months that they started dating, and I was okay with it. They had a nice wedding and moved away to a different city. We kept in touch, visiting each other for birthdays and events. I thought that everything was okay in their marriage from what they were telling me. She still did not like my wife, but she was a whole lot nicer now. A while after they got married, my wife and I decided to surprise her with a visit. We were proud of her for changing and for having a stable job for once in her life. So, without telling her, we got her a very expensive watch and flew out to her city. After checking into our hotel, we went to visit her. We went to her apartment, but when we knocked she did not answer. We got worried and decided to open it, and to our surprise, the door was open. And then, I saw something that I wish I can erase from my memory. My daughter was in her living room having sex. We started apologizing and were about to leave the room when we saw that my daughter was with another man who was not her husband. She started explaining and whatnot. I was so close to punching the guy because of how angry I was. He ended up running away. After she got clothed, she tried to explain that it was just a mistake and that things between her and her husband were fine. But I could not let her lie to the poor man like that. He was a decent guy and deserved to know the truth. She tried to ask for a second chance and not to ruin her marriage by telling her husband her dirty little secret. This led to a lot of shouting and her guilt tripping me once again, but it did not work. She could only use the "I messed up because you and mom divorced" line for too long before it expired. I was very wrong to think that she had changed. I tried my hardest to raise her with as much love as possible, even with her absent mom. She repaid me by getting into trouble and turning family members against me because I defended her. My wife and I left her apartment and contacted her husband. We told him everything that we had walked into, and the poor man was broken. He said that he had been suspecting it for a while, but she always tried to make him seem like he was controlling and insecure. Because we told him, they ended up separating, which led to a divorce after they had been married for a short time. She blamed us for it and said that it was a mistake and she loved him. She stopped talking to us and cut us off for several months. It was a surprise when 3 months ago, she sent Anne a gift for her birthday. I could not even leave her in the room with Anne, so I wondered why she was suddenly being nice to her. A few days after that, she called us, saying that she missed me and she was a bit nicer to Anne. It became a thing for her to check up on us a few times a week. Anne even said that she texted her and was acting civil for once in her life, but she still did not trust that she meant it. I had to agree with Anne. I was very careful when I interacted with her. Then, she started visiting us and staying at the house for several days. I did not forbid her, and it gave us a chance to talk about what happened between us. She apologized for being mad at us and acknowledged that she was the one who was in the wrong. She loved her ex-husband but could not let go of her past behavior. I felt bad for not letting her tell him about her affair on her own. Maybe they would have still been together. For several months, she visited us during holidays and even put any effort into getting to know Anne. They were not yet best friends but respected each other. I was so happy because of her change in attitude, and I believed that my daughter had changed. About 2 months after we started speaking to her, she invited us for dinner. She had just moved back into our city, and she said she wanted us to see her new place. To my surprise, she told us that she had just met Gabriel a few months ago when she fell in love with him. I do not want to seem judgmental, but he was not her usual type. He just seemed like he came from humble beginnings, which he confirmed when he told us what job he had. He was a clerk in a small grocery store. I still thought that no one could ever replace her first husband, but he seemed like a good person. He was a good-looking young man, who was 2 years younger than her and not yet financially stable as he was on his first job. But she was happy, and she said that he was the reason why she contacted us and fixed things. Although my wife and I were a bit concerned, wondering if he would be able to take care of her because she was a bit demanding, we decided to accept the relationship. Before the end of the dinner, she did say that she had another announcement to make. She was sure that he was the person she wanted to get married to. So they were going to get married in a couple of months. I was very happy for her, and it seemed like she was turning things around. I asked when they were going to get married and she said she was not sure, but they did not have that much money and would have to save for a while. She looked so sad when she said that, and of course, because she was my only child, my heart was touched. That night, I discussed it with Anne. We decided that we're partly to blame for her divorce from her first husband and we wanted her to be happy again. So, I decided that I was going to sponsor her entire wedding and Anne agreed to help her with the wedding arrangements. I wanted the two most important women in my life to get along. I did not get involved in the wedding arrangements, but her biological mother decided that she wanted to get involved. I was not a fan of the idea, seeing as she did not get along with Anne, but I pick my battles. I decided to just let it go for Felicia's sake and I allowed her to have her biological mom there for the planning. She got a dress made by one of the most famous designers in the city, expensive rings, and the most sought-after venue in the city. I knew the owner because I went to school with him. Many famous people have gotten married at that place, and bookings are made a few months before the date, so it was a big deal. Everything was going well, and I had the outfit ready for her big day. I wanted to make sure that everything would go well on her day. Maybe I was just protective of my little girl, but in the days before, I had gotten a bit paranoid that things would not go well. Anne had told me that she could not get hold of the person doing decor. So that was when I took time out of my busy schedule to go and check the venue out, only to be stopped by the security because apparently I was trespassing at my own daughter's wedding. It was when I pieced everything together that I realized that she was getting revenge. My daughter started that behavior when she was young. She never let go of anything. I was sure that she planned to scam me as revenge for us telling her ex about her cheating habits. So yeah, on the day of the wedding, they were denied entry. The decor company had already been requested to take their equipment and leave that afternoon. Her mother was the first person to call me and ask me why the place was not ready. I told her to ask her daughter. A few hours later, Anne and I were getting so many calls from relatives and her friends asking why I canceled my daughter's wedding. I admit that what I did was a bit petty, but I am tired of her. She has been punishing me all my life. She hated when I moved on with my life and she treats everyone like they owe her something. She has always gotten what she wanted. I think that this will be a lesson to her to stop blaming other people for her mistakes and to take responsibility for her actions. She has since blocked me after spreading all sorts of lies about me. People can believe her if they want to, but I do not care anymore. She has made a fool of me for the very last time in her life. I did what I should have done a long time ago. Now, here is the end of the story. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know your opinion about this story and the horrible daughter OP had in the comments section. So before leaving, please hit the like button and do subscribe to the channel to stay tuned with us for more awesome stories.